All the hits, Q97.1. Danny Salas live from WWE Access, the site of Wrestlemania 2015. All afternoon, broadcasting all the way live, baby. Superstars, divas, we have got an official bona fide champion sitting right in front of me. We have got Wade Barrett in the building. How you feeling, Mr. Barrett?
I'm really good. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Of course, man. I appreciate the time, and I know you've been doing interviews all stinking afternoon, so I appreciate you taking one more couple minutes for me, man.
That's okay. Anytime.
I appreciate it. So let's just talk about it, man. This Sunday, I don't think I'm going out too far on a limb to say it's one of the biggest matches of your career.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, this is the biggest WrestleMania highlight I've ever had. I'm defending my Intercontinental Championship against 6 other guys in a ladder match at WrestleMania in front of 80,000 fans at the stadium, and then we're going to have millions watching around the world. So yeah, it's a huge moment. I'm very excited for it.
Man, I love it. Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Just seeing you as number one as the Intercontinental Champion is cool. Number 2, seeing you in a ladder match is cool. But actually, number 3, just seeing you in a WWE ring is cool, considering the injury that you suffered and all the rehab that you had to go through, man. So the fact that you're even standing in a WWE ring performing, I think that's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's great to be back. I missed it while I was out, and injuries are never fun, but unfortunately they're a natural part of the game in WWE.
Right. So how long was that recovery process for you?
That was a 6-month one. That was a long one. Yeah, surgery, rehab, get back, 6 months.
Man, and I've talked to superstars here and there about injuries, but I mean, and any injury in any walk of life is horrible. But in WWE, it's sometimes it's a death sentence. It's totally a couple steps back in your career sometimes, right?
It's very depressing when it happens, but like I say, once you're over that, you can just keep looking forward.
Right. Well, and you did, because you didn't just come back. You came back with a vengeance. You're holding some, I don't know what is it, 25 pounds of gold around your waist?
About 15.
About 15?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 25 because we like to exaggerate.
It feels like 25 when you get hit in the head with it. Believe me,
right.
And I have been several times.
Right. Well, I'm glad to see you back. I'm glad to see you back in the ring. How do you even prepare for a ladder match like this? It's not preparing for one dude and having that kind of chemistry with one guy standing across the ring from you. You got 6 other guys in the ring with you, and then you got all this other hardware you're bringing into the fold. How do you even prepare for something like that?
It's very difficult to prepare. There's so many variables that could change. You can come up with a game plan, but really you need to be able to adjust yourself during the match and improvise and stuff like that, which is essentially the only attitude you can have going into this. It's almost impossible to come up with a solid game plan.
Yeah, and it's kind of just makes it more enjoyable, I think, just as a fan too, because you can kind of tell when something's more organic. Okay. And it just kind of happens, right?
Sure, definitely.
That's what I'm feeling. So right now in 2015, man, you're on top of your game. You got the IC strap. I want to rewind a little bit, kind of go back to when we were first introduced to Wade Barrett, back in the NXT days, and when you broke on screen in WWE TV with the Nexus. It looked, again, as a fan, like you were just having some fun. Was that some of the most fun times that you've had in WWE?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd essentially gone from a nobody through to this global spotlight, which was absolutely huge. You know, it was a massive step up for me. It was a ton of pressure on me, but that was what I'd always wanted to achieve. All the sacrifice I'd made up until that point in my career was paying off right there and then, because I essentially had made it in that moment. So, it was amazing to suddenly be thrust into this spotlight and be recognized everywhere, and it was a real cool experience.
To see that all that work finally paid off.
Exactly.
Well, when we first saw you, they teamed you up with Jericho, right?
Yeah, that was right. He was my mentor on that one.
Now, I wanted to ask you this again, kind of peeking backstage a little bit. On screen, he was your mentor. He was your quote-unquote coach on TV. But kind of behind the scenes, obviously you were just starting out. You're young in the game. Being teamed up with a dude like Chris Jericho on camera, did that kind of was that backstage as well? Like, did you reach out to that dude and be like, hey, you know what, Chris?
Definitely. He's to this day he's a close friend of mine, and he's definitely given me some advice over the years. But to be honest with you, in WWE I have probably 50 people I could turn to advice. Cool. There's a lot of very experienced people around, and I kind of pick and choose who I go to. I'm not at a point now where I go to everyone for advice. I'm at a point where I kind of have 2 or 3 people, and anyone else I kind of ignore and don't really pay too much attention to that.
Right. And I kind of imagine you being where you are now you're probably the dude that these young cats being called up from NXT are going to asking for advice, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of weird making that transition from being the new guy 5 years ago to being one of the more experienced guys in the locker room, and definitely, people come to me for advice all the time now, and I do what I can to help them, or sometimes send them the wrong way if I don't like it.
Right. setting this guy up.
Yeah.
That's freaking hilarious. I want to go back again talking about Nexus. That was one of the and you see these specials they have on the WWE Network about the best stables and dude, any conversation any wrestling fan has about the best stables, Nexus comes up. Was that a brainchild of yours or the group of guys coming up from NXT?
Completely Vince McMahon's brainchild.
Yeah.
He came up with that, and we were just the ones that went out there and pulled it off and made it our own. So yeah, I mean, it was a great moment in wrestling history. We had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, very, very, very excited to be a part of that at the time.
Were you kind of disappointed that the run ended when it did? Do you think it had more legs?
I think so. I think the general consensus is that after the initial attack and the first few things we did, it kind of lost a bit of momentum, and the storyline wasn't there and the writing wasn't there to back up what we were doing. So that was kind of disappointing. I think they did a much better job with guys like The Shield. They kind of had a 2-year run of doing that kind of stuff, and it worked a lot better. So I think they learned their lessons from the mistakes they made with the Nexus.
Yeah. Well, that was back when the brand split was still happening too. So there was a different Raw and SmackDown roster. So you kind of went to SmackDown, and they still had you form the core. So they had you spearheading another stable on SmackDown too. Was that something that you kind of thrived upon, just kind of leading a group, or did you always just want to be
the thing about the core? I wasn't really leading them. It was supposed to be a conglomerate of these 4 people who had equal ownership of the group, and I don't think that worked at all. I didn't really enjoy the core. I thought it was kind of a poor rip-off of the Nexus, so I was quite glad when that ended. I could kind of go off on my own at that point.
Yeah, I think kind of, especially when the brand split ended too, and everyone kind of shared shows. It kind of wasn't really a reason to have a stable like that too, right? Well, that's cool. Is it safe to say that you're having kind of the most fun and you're enjoying your run the most now? As IC
definitely. I'm having a lot of fun as Bad News Barrett. I come back in better shape than I was before, and having a lot of success and getting to perform in WrestleMania. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
Right, man. I missed the freaking gavel, man. Where'd the gavel go?
Yeah, maybe I'll bring it back and hit some people over the head with it.
Easy. I dig it. Well, I just want to say again, as a fan, just seeing you in the ring, and especially just knowing the kind of the real injury that you suffered and the hardship that you had to come through kind of rehabbing, man, just to see you back doing your thing. And I'm not going to lie, when you're in the ring and you take like a shoulder bump or a shoulder block or something, I'm like, I cringe.
Yeah.
I cringe. I'm like, dude.
I cringe too.
Right? I'm like, dude, come on. You freaking just had surgery on that sucker. But congratulations on everything, man.
Thank you
good
very
luck.
much.
Good luck for this Sunday. No matter what happens, a lot of people are saying, and with good reason, the ladder match I think is going to be the one that steals the show, man.
Cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Wade Barrett live in the building. WrestleMania this Sunday on the WWE Network. I appreciate the time, and we actually have a SmackDown in Fresno the Tuesday after WrestleMania, so hopefully you'll be a part of that.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure I'll be there.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Wade Barrett in the building.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
Thank you.